So, slow riding. What's the secret to it? Clutch control. What you can often see and hear about on YouTube and on social media, that it's all about rear brake. Okay, well it's not. Your rear brake has an important job to do, okay, but the most important job to do is to get the throttle and the clutch correct. Okay, so if you want to get good at riding slowly, you need to get good at throttle and clutch control, especially the clutch control. Okay, the rear brake is an addition to riding slowly. It's not the be all end all. If you was on an automatic bike or a bike like a Honda with the DCT box, then you will need to use rear brake. But on a clutch bike, you need to get really good at using the clutch. Okay. When people get it wrong, they use too much rear brake. So then they're fighting with the throttle and the clutch all the time. Okay, the bike dips and they're always doing this, okay, with their hands, etc. What happens then is it becomes really difficult to control the bike. So if you can use the rear brake, you want to use a small amount of it, okay, just a big toe's worth, or just rest your boot's weight through the rear brake. There are exceptions to that. If I was going downhill in the Alps and I've got a hairpin bend, I'll probably be in second gear, slipping the clutch, but I will be using a lot of rear brake then to control the bike because it's downhill. So even though I'm off the throttle, I'm still accelerating because gravity's pulling me down. So I'll use the rear brake for them, okay? But on a flat level ground like this, then it's a small amount if you need it at all, okay? So think about your clutch control. You've got three main zones. You've got position 1, 2, the friction zone, 3, fully out. 1, whatever I do here, we know nothing happens to the back wheel. 2 is the control zone, the zipping zone, and we've got 3, fully out. If I get some of this, it all goes to the back wheel. Think of the friction zone not as a light switch, an on-off. Okay, so we see people doing this all the time. Okay, on-off, on-off, on-off. Think of it as a dimmer switch. Okay, so I'm increasing the power gently if I need to, and all I'm doing really is using on that clutch there is just the pressure of my fingers to release and increase the pressure. So if you're riding correctly, you shouldn't see this. You shouldn't see much going off there at all. Just you'll be able to feel it, but someone else shouldn't really see that clutch control. Once you've got really good clutch control, we can then add a little bit of rear brake if you want as a comfort blanket. Okay, but people use that rear brake as a crutch. They're on it and they're pressing hard on it, and that's just really bad control. This is the control element: throttle and clutch. With your throttle, you want revs on, but you don't want it racing. You want a small amount of revs, okay, just enough to give the bike an engine noise. Okay, we don't silence or just tick over. We want a little bit more than that, and that helps us then gauge it with a clutch. If you need a bit more power, it's already available, it's already on. I can just increase it. Okay. So one of the greatest drills you can do riding around here, and we'll get you to do in a moment, is to ride around and varying the throttle, but not varying the speed. The speed's going to stay the same. Okay, so I'm going to go rev, 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 but keep the speed going the same. Right, so I'll ride around here now, and I'll do that, and you'll see what happens. Okay, the bike stays the same speed. What I'll do then is I'll get really poor at the clutch control, and you see the bike jerking and dipping. Okay, so turn her on. So first thing then is, and I get the revs to do that, but I won't change speed. Okay, so shoulder checks full move away, and then so here we go, rev, 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 and the bike's not changing speed. Anything I want, look, it's not changing speed. If I do that wrong, so that's poor control. So when you're riding around, vary the throttle, but try not to change the speed. Okay, don't use the rear brake for now. Okay, this is a throttle and clutch control exercise. Okay, so don't use the rear brake. I want your foot away from that. Just using throttle and clutch to maintain the speed. Okay, give it a whirl. That's it. Now rev, 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 rev. More revs. Don't be scared of it. Rev, 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 rev. That's it. Turn your head, turn the bike. stop the revving now. Okay, you want a nice constant rev, just using the clutch. So turn your head, turn the bike. Use a bit of rear brake there, that's not a problem. You're going down slightly downhill. That's it, turn your head, turn the bike. That's getting better now, isn't it? Be nice and relaxed. Don't forget to breathe, it's important. Turn your head now and turn the bike. There we go. Riding position on a naked bike like that, you need to be set up. So think about your visor now, okay? So if you're getting lower and lower and lower, then all you can see is this bit here. If you raise your vision, you can see further, okay? Also, if you're getting closer, when you're trying to turn the bike, something can't turn. That's you, because your body's in the way. If you're upright, your arms can move inside you. So it's really important to be sat upright so you can see and be relaxed, shoulders down, elbows down, so you can move around a bit. Okay, that's quite important. Okay, you'll go then, Matt. So again, rev, 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 rev. Okay, and then when we're happy with the speed, we'll take the revs out of it, just add a little bit, use the clutch to control speed. Again, no rear brake. You may want to use it, that bit down there, that's fine, when you're turning, okay, because it's downhill. Again, we're still exciting, they're going downhill, we're towards the gravity. Have a go. Let me get shoulder checks before you move away. Yeah, and gear's always a good idea, yeah. Okay, so walking pace, rev, 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 rev. Again, sit yourself up, mate, you're getting to that slouch position. Shoulders back a bit. That's it. More revs, okay, they're not loud enough for me at the minute. I want noise. That's it. That's it, rev, rev, rev again. So we can see there with the clutch, it's been perfectly control the bike. It's nice control of the clutch. Okay, now slowly, no rev, 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 just slip in the clutch, okay, but you want just to be above tick over. Go a little bit slower for me. Just really work that clutch. Be disciplined with the clutch. That's good, that's nice control. And park it up for me. Okay, so we now know we can ride this bike quite slowly without using the rear brake if we get really good on the clutch. What I want you to do now is add the tiny bit of rear brake if you want to, okay? But remember, it's just a big toe's worth if you're going to use it, okay? You don't really need to use it on a flat level ground, but if you want to as a little bit of comfort blanket, then let's use a little bit of it, okay? Now obviously this is slow speed stuff. A high speed stuff, you use your rear brake combined with the front brake first, okay? But at slow speed, we don't need too much of it. We can just use the throttle and the clutch, a little bit of rear brake if you want to. So if you ride round again for me now, Mark, okay? And if you want to, add a little bit of rear brake, okay? But only a tiny, tiny amount, just to steady yourself. It's like throwing an anchor behind you. So now I've got throttle and clutch control, we can add that complementary control of the rear brake. And then it's easy, isn't it? We've got the three things we need. obviously balance with what it got. I'll take it as a given. Okay, have another go for me. So shell check's in. Moving away. Sit nice and slow. Tiny amount of rear brake if you need it. That's good. It's far better. Right position is better as well. You're upright. It's good. Okay, so park up for me. Matt, if you want to get ready, mate. Off we go into a tiny amount of rear brake now, okay? If you want to use it at all. It's good. We did quite a bit this the other day, so I expected it to be good. Okay, park up, mate. I'm happy with that.